What's up, y'all? Zaza Sports back with another video, and we're at a different angle today because I'm recording this on my PC for real. Tell me if you like this angle a little better, more than when it's like, you know, right in front of me. But anywho, I've been a sports YouTuber for about 9 months now, and I make content about NFL, NBA, and sometimes WWE. While I do have the preference of the NFL over the NBA, I really do notice an objective difference between these two communities. Like, for two sports where the discussion should be fundamentally the same, they're so fundamentally different. And let me know if y'all have noticed this too, because all love to LeBron, but you don't see modern day NFL players saying stuff like this.
And we should respect all eras in that era. You know, we can't be saying, okay, just because Wilt was great in the 60s and 70s that he'll be great now. And we also can't say that some of the guys now will be great. It is what it is. Respect that era and we move on. But the whole every single day that he's better, he's not better, he wouldn't. You trying to tell me Giannis wouldn't be able to play an NBA game in the 70s?
I think handshake, he wouldn't be able to do.
Giannis,
yeah, neither would you. Neither would you.
Giannis Antetokounmpo would have 250 points in a game in the 70s. 250.
Is that Cozy? When was Cozy?
And again, all love to LeBron James. I love you, Pookie. You could say LeBron James is provoked because this was brought on to him from players from a previous era talking about generations and how they would dominate in this era. That just goes to show how fundamentally different the combos are. You don't see analysts talking about the game like this.
Things that I haven't brought up. I never brought up really and never really discussed why you were not at Kobe Bryant's memorial service. I never really brought up or discussed why you did not attend Dwayne Wade's Hall of Fame induction.
And you don't see the constant generational bashing of the game like how it is in the NBA. And honestly, I went a 3-month period without recording a single NBA video because for some reason, for NBA discussion, there's more validity to some head-ass takes out there. But let's discuss this topic. These are the reasons why NBA discourse is different from the NFL. Reason number 1, players over team. Now, if you've ever been in an NBA discussion, how many times have you heard, I don't like a certain team, I like certain players? And honestly, this is nothing to hate on. I'm guilty of this too. You think I, who has no association with the Cavaliers, Lakers, or Heat, haven't watched majority of LeBron James' career simply because it's LeBron James? Or let's say you live in Canada and you've been watching all Steph Curry's games for the last 10 years. It makes sense because these are the two most popular players in the league. But the thing that this idea of liking players over teams does, it can stunt your ability to grow with the game. Because if you like a team like my personal favorite team, the LA Clippers, and it's been my favorite team since I was 9, it'll exist for the majority of basketball most of the time, unless you live in Charlotte. But if you just are a fan of certain players from a certain era, they're not going to play during all of the history of basketball. And it makes it easier to favor one era over another. And this is a big reason on why people debate eras so much in the NBA community. Because simply, they don't got a favorite team, they just like the players from the 90s or the 2000s or even the 80s. And we as fans naturally over-glamorize our favorite players. And sometimes we can push the over-glamorization of players you like from an era onto the era as a whole. Simply put, if you like a team, it grows with you through every era. So through the ISO heavy 2000s, where defense reigned supreme in the 90s, to the three-point revolution of the 2010, your team will be there through all of it. But this leads to my next gripe. The NBA can't market new teams. This year, there might be 2 teams that win 70 games in the NBA, and I've heard the Lakers, the Golden State Warriors, about 100 times more than I've heard anything about the Cavaliers or Oklahoma City Thunder. Outside the MVP race, I have barely heard anything about the Thunder. This is not to say the NFL doesn't cherry pick its favorite teams to get the most views, but if you are the #1 seed in the AFC or the NFC in any given year, you are going to get way more media coverage than the NBA if you're a 1 seed in the West or East. And this is also another problem in itself. I know more SGA fans than I know Oklahoma City Thunder fans. The NBA just markets players better than they market their own teams. But this goes on to my other point, the media. After seeing Stephen A. Smith fucking go on national television and straight up lie and say LeBron James wasn't at Kobe's memorial, which what the fuck does this have to do with the game of basketball, by the way? It makes me hate the NBA media even more than I used to. Because for a while, these guys got away with dehumanizing these players, talking about their families, and all around talking about anything but the game of basketball that's going on. And then when they see the NBA ratings are dropping, who do they point the fingers at? Of course, the people that they dehumanize and scrutinize 24/7. And when they go on TV and put players on blast for shooting too much threes, which they assume decreases the ratings of the game of basketball, it can lead to takes that have little to no validity getting more popular with common fans. And this isn't a thing that just started today. This goes all the way back to when Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain were hating on the 90s. It simply just recycles. And just because this thing just recycles and recycles, there needs to be a generation that breaks this. If you compare the circus fuck of the NBA media to the NFL media, it's not even a goddamn comparison. Because while there is a bunch of dumbasses that talk about the NFL, they're at least talking about the NFL, you know? When they see a kid balling out in their rookie year, look at Tom Brady's face right here.
It's really enabled you to be so calm, so confident in your rookie year.
Yeah, I think it's the whole offensive staff. They do a great job of putting what they know I can handle on my plate, which I feel like is a lot. They feel like that too. And you know, I just prepare. I prepare the right way. I don't cheat the game. You got to put in the work to get the product out on Sundays. So, man, you know, I just thank my coaching staff, really.
Yeah, and I'm sure they love calling plays for you and seeing you lead the team. I've heard about your work ethic.
He saw a kid that didn't play in the same era as him, maybe not dealing with these absolutely molestation hits that Tom Brady was dealing with sometimes. And look at his face. He recognizes that they are cut from the same cloth still. What he also recognizes, the evolution of the game can't still have players getting decapitated on their own 50-yard line when the ball was out 14 seconds ago. Something NBA media just can't fathom. They can't fathom why they can't run two big men anymore. They can't fathom why they're chucking up so much threes. They can't fathom why they're not taking mid-range shots anymore. They point out all these reasons to point the finger at the players than enjoying the evolution of the game they should love. You shouldn't love an era of the game. You should love the game. And as time goes on, the NBA is going to keep evolving, and you can be a dinosaur in the past or you can go with it. And here's another reason I'm just going to throw out there. The transition in the NFL from the Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers era and Big Ben era was so seamless to Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. Yeah, I know I just said that most NFL fans are fans of NFL teams, but I would also argue they're better at selling players as well, because these quarterbacks I just named took over for some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and it was just seamless. While the NBA still doesn't have a replacement for their two most popular players in the LeBron James and Steph Curry, they can't market a player or a team good enough to not have their views drop off. I'm telling you, if they can't find two players, because like I said, the NBA is a player over teams league that will match LeBron James and Steph Curry, there might be a problem. But they just somehow can't find a way for these very marketable faces on marketable franchises to get them to touch our hearts like LeBron James and Steph Curry have. And that's going to be the end of my point, but cue the fucking music. This is how much LeBron touches my heart. Let's go.